So setting off in the Mark 6 Jetta, I know I haven't talked in a lot of my test drives lately, but I thought I'd talk a little bit in this one, just because I don't have really any videos other than our Mark 5s, Jetta-wise. But setting off in it, it feels like a Volkswagen, and it actually kind of surprised me because I've driven some of the lower-end ones from the other model years with the gasoline engine, which the 5-cylinder has been tuned a little differently in those just to get that extra little bit of gas mileage and all of that. But in this one, no, it still feels like a Volkswagen. I mean, you lay into it, that DSG kicks in, and you are speeding a lot. But otherwise, everything about it feels very familiar to me personally. The first thing I did notice in this car, the steering is still pretty precise, but it's a lot lighter, and it definitely does not have as much feedback as the Mark 5 does. Another thing that I love about this car is when you're slowing down, you can feel the Dsg Downshift. My old CB7 used to do that, and I loved that. But this is one of the best automatic transmissions I've ever driven. Also, you get on the highway, and just from the way the tach is, because it only revs to 5 grand, you feel like you're revving very high, but then you look and you're only at 2 grand at 65. But it's just funny the way it feels because the tach is up high because it only goes to 5. But as you can see here, I throw our Jetta through this curve at least once a week. There is not that much body roll. Like, this definitely has more body roll, and I'm sure you can tell by now it needs an alignment badly. The steering is like just cocked to the side. But it has a very, very quiet and comfortable ride on the highway. The independent rear suspension helps with that so much, because I've driven ones that did not have that, older models, and they crash over every little thing in the road, which is a deal breaker when you live in Richmond, Virginia, and the roads are horrible. But this would be a fantastic road trip car. I'm currently going uphill, barely on the throttle. I'm averaging about 42 miles per gallon. It's dropping now. I'm at 31. But that going uphill, taking my foot off, 43. But that's definitely something, and my dad said the same thing, he wished he could make it stop, is this little fluctuating mileage thing in the middle. It's very, very distracting when you're driving. But going through the curves, you can feel that torque. Oh, that's fun. I don't want to scare this Escape. Oh, I could get used to that. And when you are not on that throttle, the DSG will short shift. But then you dip into it, and it picks up and goes. And it still handles very nicely, but there is definitely a lot more understeer and a lot more body roll than the Mark 5. But that could just be the TDIs with these. I don't know. I've never really done a lot of extensive cornering with a gas engine. But that being said, like I said before, going through here and this one with the independent rear suspension, very, very smooth. It's a very nice Carmen Ghia over there. Never see those. even that right there, it's very smooth over it. Oh, this car would just be so much more fun if it had 3 pedals. But that being said, for what it is, it's a great car. And even though he won't admit it because he just misses his car, I definitely do think my dad has been enjoying driving this around. I still think if personally my family, we were to go buy a new Jetta, which I don't see happening anytime in the future, I do think we would still go with the gasoline engine. I actually personally have not driven the new 1.8 liter turbo, but I like the 5-cylinder. I still, owning 2 vehicles with the 5-cylinder, we've never had an issue. They've been fantastic for us, but we probably still would go with the gas engine. I mean, fuel economy isn't that big of a deal to my family that we would actually go out and buy a car purely for fuel economy. And honestly, I will say it, I like this car, but I would not pay nearly $28,000 for this. There are so many other cars that I like so much more. I mean, a GTI, you can get a decent GTI for 28 grand if I'm not mistaken. But for the people that like these cars, I think Volkswagen is doing a great job, and I still do enjoy the fact that Volkswagen makes cars for people who necessarily don't want a hybrid, and there's nothing wrong with that if you don't want a hybrid. There's still plenty of cool hybrids on the market and stuff like that, but some people might just not want that, and there's nothing wrong if someone wants a hybrid either. I don't understand all the hate between a lot of automotive people over things like that, because you can have fun in any car. At least I can have fun in any car. I mean, right now I'm rolling around in a poop-colored diesel Jetta. So, coming up here though, this is one of my favorite little things to go through. Oh, that's a nice transmission. It's perfect. And the steering in this car too, it is so easy. It's just like our other Jetta. When you're just cruising, it's very, very easy. If that's even a way to describe it, I guess. Brake pedal in this car is a little hard. Like, you kind of have to stand on them, but they work fairly well. This does, of course, since it's a 14, have the 4-wheel disc brakes, which was added to this car after 2012, I believe. But don't quote me on that one. Okay, let's just kick the soccer ball in the middle of the road. And at low speeds too, and this is one thing my dad noticed also, this car is very, very easy to speed in, because it just revs so low and you barely have to get on the gas to get it to move. I mean, not that it's a fast car by any means, but the power delivery is very, very nice, but it's also very different if you're not used to a diesel. Spun the front tires there a little bit. I mean, it's very, very snappy. It's nice. And I know I said this in my tour, and I just can't say it enough, but the interior of this car, and this car in general, is just so much more well-built than most of the other cars in its class. Like, just going around my neighborhood on these little roads like this are a great test, because that Corolla rental I had rattled. It rattled so much. This, not a sound. Even these CDs in the door, which I'm surprised aren't rattling, because this is kind of rubberized and lined inside of this storage compartment. It's just the little things like that. I mean, people really have bashed this generation of Jetta, me included, since it came out, but it's still a great car. Even the cheaper, lower end ones are still great cars. And I've really actually enjoyed the time that I've spent with this one. When I first saw we had a TDI as our loaner, I was kind of skeptical, but I've enjoyed it. Backup camera and all, as dumb as it is. Alright guys, this has just been a test drive of the Jetta. Thanks for watching, and as always, any questions, comments, anything like that, drop them down below. Thanks for watching guys, and subscribe for more.